best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host, and a man who thinks brain-eating amoeba might just be his next band name. And with me at Entertalk Central is the brain-eating amoeba of all mixing interns, Hans Gruber. Hans, how's it going, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Have you heard the story about the brain-eating amoeba?
No, what is that?
You heard it? So, there was a lady that was treating her cold in Seattle, and she used tap water in this thing called a neti pot, which kind of it blows steam up into your sinuses, right? Mm. And she got a brain-eating amoeba from it. And now the term brain-eating amoeba is trending on Twitter. And I was just thinking, what a great band name. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for brain-eating amoeba. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that should be the next band name. That's what I'm thinking.
Sounds like a good rock band.
So, there you go. So what's going on in Entertalk Central today, Hans?
Today, just working on some website stuff.
Nice.
And some audio stuff, yes.
Beautiful. Well, we're glad we have Hans here at the show. We're glad we have you here at the show. You have me. I'm Scott Robertson. I run a PR firm called Robertson Communications. If you want to reach me, you can send an email to scott@robertsoncom.com, or you can catch me on the website, robertsoncom2ms.com, or social @robertsoncom, or facebook.com/robertsoncom. And we're out there making noise, posting client clips, doing that marketing, public relations thing that we do there. You are smart because you've tuned into a great episode. This is episode 106 of the big show that I like to call, this episode's called Funnel Fallacies. You know, in the wondrous world of digital marketing today, you can't swing a dead cat, sorry, PeTA, around without hitting somebody in the face who's talking about your funnel. But what is that? You know, what is and is that really the metaphor that you want to use to talk about building relationships with your customers? I mean, really? You know, we're gonna dissect the concept of the funnel, and we're gonna dissect why it's not a great model to talk about marketing through, which I know is controversial given that marketing has been based on it for a good long time. But hear me out. We're gonna have some fun talking about funnels. Join me for this episode, which is going to be nominated definitely for a Peabody, and it's going to be great. We're going to talk funnels, fallacies. We're going to have some fun. We're also going to hit who's winning and losing this week. It's going to be another action-packed episode of the show. So, without further ado, let's talk funnel. So, the purchase funnel or purchasing funnel is kind of a consumer-focused marketing model which kind of illustrates the theoretical journey towards the purchase of a product or a service. It's very old, so you know. A lot of people think, digital marketing sort of invented the funnel. Not true. 1898, a guy named St. Elmo Lewis, he developed the first model which mapped a theoretical customer journey from the moment or brand a product attracted consumer attention to the point of action of purchase. And St. Elmo Lewis, not to be confused with St. Elmo's Fire, his idea is often referred to as the AIDA model, which everybody who's ever studied marketing studies AIDA, which is awareness, interest, desire, and action. And it kind of, you kind of go down this funnel, right? You start with awareness, you go to interest, desire, action. In the 1920s, it was deemed the purchase funnel, the customer funnel, the marketing funnel. And of course, the latest spin on that with digital marketing is really the conversion funnel is what kind of e-commerce applications use to track the journey that a customer takes through internet advertising or a different search system, navigating a website, and finally converting to a sale, right? And sales are important. That's why we do a lot of what we do. I'm never going to tell you that you don't want to base things on sales. But I am going to tell you that I've never been a huge fan of the concept of a funnel. There's two ways people use it. If you use it like the AIDA model, awareness, interest, desire, action, that sort of thing, right? Then that's a little bit more acceptable. But some people in digital marketing use it as like this. They'll say, well, if we, like a funnel, it's fat at the top and it's skinny at the bottom. So it's like, so if I send out 100,000 emails, then I'll get one level of clicks, that'll get me down to 50,000. Then the next people will click down and I'll get, 10 sales out of sending 100,000 emails, let's say. My huge problem with that methodology is that literally is the problem of all marketing expressed in the funnel is literally the idea of we need to send out a bunch of crap and hope that some of it sticks and hope that some of it goes down the funnel and that we get 10 sales is literally the problem that my entire show, my entire practice, and my entire professional career has been about stopping, right? That's all bad news because we are in the relationship business. And the relationship business says, well, there's no throwaways here. We're not in changing our mindset to say we're not going to send out 100,000 to get 10. We're going to send out the right amount and convert all of them, right? And keep all of them on the carousel. This is the fallacy of digital marketing. And I think it comes because most digital marketers don't know jack squat about actual marketing. And actual marketing, is not like that because we're in the relationship business. I'd like to I think instead of calling it a conversion funnel or something stupid like that, you should call it the big, happy, fun relationship tube. The big, happy, fun relationship tube, because a tube is fat at the top and it's fat at the bottom, right? It's more fun. You can slide down them. You're sliding in them. You can build things with them. It's like a big Lego set. You can't build anything fun with a funnel. Honestly, you could put it on your hat and you could like in your head like a hat, and you could do like an imitation of the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. That's about the most fun thing that you could do with a funnel. Digital marketers, you people, are fine with bothering thousands, nay, millions of people with the message, as long as a small portion of them behave appropriately. Get you your clicks, get you your sales, get you your things. That is terrible marketing. Absolutely terrible. Because all those people that you've annoyed at the top of your funnel hate you. And by the way, they hate you and they hate all of us doing marketing too, because now you have added to the problem, the spam problem. I don't care, it must be free. I could send, why send 100,000 emails when it costs me just as much to send 100 million? It's just a numbers game. Marketing is more than a numbers game. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is more than a numbers game. And if you are a numbers person, you need to pick up a friggin' marketing textbook and figure out what your job description actually is. That is not okay. It's not okay with me. It's not okay with thousands of marketers that are out there trying to do the job the right way. Okay? An example from my business. I send out an e-newsletter for my public relations business. It has a 0 unsubscribe rate because everyone that I send it to has provided me with their consent to get it. I know them. They know me. The content is good, and I don't send it too often. Now, that was easy, right? That's easy, right? 0% unsubscribe rate, huge click-through rate, works very, very well. I get all kinds of comments from it. People like it. It's content that's designed to help people and be good content out there. And, of course, I'm showing my work at the same time, so it helps my business at the same time, right? And let's just go over those 3 factors for success. Consent. Everybody knows they're getting it. There's no surprises here. I don't buy lists. I don't do any of that dumb crap. Content is good, is useful, is valuable to them. It doesn't sell me too hard, but it shows my work. So, my sales pitch is in there. And I don't send it too often. I send it monthly. I like monthly. For a B2B newsletter, I like monthly. Some people would say every other week. Depends. Content better be great. Content better be really great. I get that. Every business is going to be a little bit different. But for my B2B clients, I tend to recommend monthly. If you're going to send something weekly, man, it better be great. It better be freaking great, and it better be great every time. I wouldn't say not to send it, but again, just with the caveat. See, here's the thing in branding and marketing that digital marketing misses. Everything counts. One of the first rules of branding is that everything counts. One of the reasons that branding is so hard is that everything counts, right? You can be doing things totally fine, totally great your entire career. You can be up on top of the world, top of the world, and somebody unearths some tweets that you said a few years ago and starts broadcasting them and says that you're, against, homosexuals in the case of Kevin Hart. And then you have to drop out of hosting the Oscars because of that. Everything counts. Everything. And so your funnel model flies in direct opposition with brand theory about cultivating strong customer relationships. That's why I don't like it. That's why when people come in the room and say, I want to talk about our funnel, I'm always the one that go, what about these people at the top of the funnel? Do we have to send to them? Can't we be smarter about this, right? In this day and age, we have so much data. Can't we be so smart to where we can get everybody's consent and not piss everybody off? Is there a way that we could approach this problem to where we are doing things that build relationships? And people say, oh, AI is going to be great. We're going to crunch numbers. We're going to be able to send people the messages. People don't want messages from your AI. Let me give you a spoiler alert. People don't want your messages, and they sure as hell don't want them coming from a lifeless machine. Okay? AI is going to make it worse. Here's why AI is going to make it worse. You're talking about literally something that is inhuman at its conception. And you're talking about something that was designed, programmed by a lot of people who have what I'm going to call, for the purposes of this broadcast, limited social skills. You do not want these programmers who, I have a lot of friends that are programmers. They are lucky to be able to take a shower and groom themselves appropriately for society. They should not be in charge of your human relationships. They suck at their human relationships. They're definitely going to suck at yours. I guarantee it, right? And yet people just hand control over their customer relationships over to AI. Well, I'm sure AI is not going to be a problem. Let me give you a spoiler alert. AI is going to be a problem. It's only a matter of when is it going to be a problem. And it's definitely going to be a problem for your marketing if you trust it to handle the relationships with your customers. This is the most precious asset your friggin' company has. You do not want to put it in the hands of a machine that was designed by people who don't shower. That's not cool. I'm just saying. I may be the only one in marketing that says that, but good God, I wouldn't do that. Any of my clients. There are great uses for AI in terms of number crunching, in terms of machine language learning. I have 2 clients that are AI clients. Love them to death. But I am not putting my clients' relationships in their charge, in their hands. Just saying that. So, it has me asking the question, because we're so obsessed with the funnel. And this is important. This is an important question. Do we possess the patience and the empathy to create real relationships with our customers? This is the marketing question you should be asking. Does our organization possess the patience? Are we okay if they don't buy now? Are we okay with that? Is that acceptable to us? Or do we have to push them down the funnel? Damn it, the funnel must be appeased. Do we possess the patience and the empathy for their situation to really create relationships? Or is all of that a giant ruse and really all we care about is sales? Really all we care about is selling crap to people, and we don't give a flying crap whether they like us or not. Just give us your money. Just give us your money. Well, let's talk about some brands that have patience. Apple. Apple has patience. They're not a hard selling company. They're not buy now. They're not deep discounts. They're not any of that stuff. Why? Because their brand message says this. It says, you're more powerful than you think. There's a better you inside you. Their brand message is all about you. And they're like, oh, we have confidence that you'll do the right thing for you. Right? They're smart. They understand branding, and they understand how to play a longer game. Big brands have patience. Disney has patience. Disney has empathy and patience. Nike has patience. Meaning, we don't have to force you down the funnel right now. We don't have to. We don't have to send out a million things. We don't have to do that stupid math where it's like, I send out 1 million to get 100,000 to get 10 to get 1. That's stupid math, by the way. If you have people in your organization that do that math, punch them in the face. Literally. I mean, that is the worst. And not just for your company. You're the worst for the marketing profession in general. Stop it. Stop it. If you're going to have marketing in your title, you better damn well understand that you're doing this stuff you're not doing it in a vacuum just with your company. We're all in this together. And the more people that are spamming out there and doing stuff, who doesn't have patience? CVS drugstores. They send me 8 emails. There's probably some idiot at CVS drugstores. It's like, well, we sent him these things, and according to the funnel, he will purchase on touch number 6, touch number 7. I hate you. There's your touch. I hate CVS drugstore. Albertsons, you sent me 37 emails in 1 month. How many friggin' times do you think I go to the grocery store? Use your musician's friend. You email me every day. Back off. I don't talk to my wife every day. You are not my wife. You shouldn't be emailing me every day. Back the hell off. eBay, you send me too much stuff. You're desperate. It makes me feel like you're desperate. It drives me away. It doesn't pull me to you. That kind of thing. Stop thinking about this stuff like a funnel. That is all kinds of stupid wrapped in mythology and stupid. But you're smart because you're listening to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. Come on back. We're talking about who's winning and losing this week, kids. See ya.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody, it is Friday, and you are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host. We've been talking today about the funnel fallacies, the fallacies of the funnels. So Hans is hanging out in the studio. Hans, are you learning something so far?
Yeah, I've been following along with the I'd say the when you annoyingly pester people with the same advertisements, because as a musician, as musicians, I and with my peers as musicians, we always talk about how much should you promote yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the best way to promote yourself is to play great shows.
Right. Yeah.
Play great shows.
And so
that
spreads,
man.
We have people that post like every day, and we see the same thing. We're like, okay, we understand.
Yes, that's true. Bands are guilty of it too. I am not a fan of posting anything unless it's going to help somebody else. Because people are, if it's something cool they want to see, something that's going to draw them in, then that's cool. But I'm usually not a fan of especially on social media, because people just kind of want to look in the mirror on social media. Fun. Well, cool. Let's talk about who's winning and losing this week, folks. I want to start off, kind of on a sad note. This week we lost Pete Shelley from the Buzzcocks, the UK, punk band, the Buzzcocks, which, absolutely, what a great band. And certainly it's they kind of created the model for groups like, the Libertines, the Arctic Monkeys, even Green Day, people like that. I love Green Day, things like that. So, but I encourage you to check out, obviously, we'll miss Pete, but go to Pro Sound News. Pro Sound News, it's actually prosoundnetwork.com/Pro Sound News. And on their blog, they've got a nice chat with Pete Shelley before he passed, and back in 2006 is when that interview was. But anyway, we'll start off with that, and then just while we're talking about that, obviously the nation laid to rest George H.W. Bush's body this week, and the state had state funeral, and that really kind of dominated the headlines. To me, I thought it was it was really a really cool tribute, to a great man. Obviously we lose a great president of the United States, then it's kind of the appropriate type of tribute. Everything kind of shuts down. We even shut down the mail, for that kind of thing. But it did amaze me. How much of the news was centered around, like the current president's reaction to Bush's death, and you never, or like, wasn't it great? Bush was so much this, and he's like so much better than Donald Trump and this kind of thing, and just like that doesn't help anybody. The nation's trying to mourn, a president, and the news media is preoccupied with whether Donald Trump said the words to the Apostles' Creed. Leave the man alone. He's attending a funeral. How would you like it if you attended a funeral and everybody kind of, everybody grieves in their own way? And plus it's about the person who died and their family and the grief process and that kind of thing. It's not about, for once, it's not about our current, president, but they just couldn't resist that, just as quite an example that, our news media is just, they're just hoping the current president really fails hard, man. And that's not good for any of us, because last I checked, if the president of the United States fail, we fail with him. That's how that happens. So I'd prefer our country not fail. So I think that's all kinds of stupid, by the way. Who's losing is there's a teacher in Montville, New Jersey, and basically a substitute teacher who told first grade students that Santa Claus isn't real. So the principal sent a letter to parents following the incident last week at a school and said that it's a sensitive nature of the topic, and said that they were troubled and disheartened by the incident, and the didn't mean to destroy the childhood wonder associated with the holidays and traditions. It was special to her. And this is and everyone may think, well, that's a really kind of a stupid news story. And but if this, when my kids were that age, you do sort of protect the secret of Santa Claus in a really powerful way. It adds to the whole joy of the thing, and you want to hang on to it, as long as you possibly can, basically until their friends at school drop the bomb on them and tell them that, there's no Santa, and then they come home and they share with you that they know that. But you certainly don't want to have first graders told that, and you certainly you have to create your own misinformation campaign to contradict what they heard in the school. But that school's doing all kinds of losing this week. That's what I say. Who's winning is television. Americans still prefer watching to reading the news. Yep, not a lot of readers in the country left. So Americans continue to prefer watching the news rather than reading it, according to the latest Pew Research Center study. Basically, 47% of Americans prefer watching the news rather than reading or listening to it, which is basically a little higher than it was in 2016, and it outpaces the 34% who prefer to read the news and the 19% who prefer to listen to it. I think that's kind of interesting. If you're in the marketing and communications profession, you need to know how people are getting their news, how people are still getting their news. And to me, it's interesting, when they say, Americans, and they say U.S. adults. Now, we know for a fact that a lot of the younger U.S. adults don't watch television at all. They don't watch any television. They watch, they're watching YouTube. They watch what's going on in their mobile devices. I mean, that's kind of television to them. They watch Hulu on demand. The concept of tuning into television mounted on a wall is kind of foreign to a lot of those folks. So I think that's kind of interesting that the number is still so high. It's obviously going to be skewed by the older demographics in that. But anyway, I put that in. Television news is definitely winning because of that. And it impacts what we do in PR, right? I mean, if you're having a conversation with a client and they say, what should we do to break news? Should we be a story that's read on the news, or should we try to be or should we be a study that's, or should we be a story that's that people have to read online or read in the paper and that kind of thing? Or is it better for us to be a story that, can be watched? And without a doubt, the data points to the fact that we want to be watched. Very important. So, watching, there you go. Let's talk about PETA. Good Lord. So, the people for the ethical treatment of animals, PETA, are now encouraging the public to stop using popular idioms because they considered anti-animal language. PETA. I mean, books could be written about how awful their everything they do is, but some of their stuff is just ridiculous. They basically talked about instead of bringing home the bacon, they talked about bringing home the bagels. And I heard, and one of my friends in PR said they're going to start using "bring home the bagels" just because they like it better. For the vegan kind of people. Instead of kill two birds with one stone, PETA said you should use the phrase feed two birds with one scone. Even though a lot of people chimed in on Twitter, and bread products can be really harmful to certain kinds of birds. So actually, maybe more harmful than throwing a rock at them, because they could dodge the rock, but the bread's going to kill them. Just going to say. So there's all kinds of trolling going on with PETA's stuff. But this is my main point about this story. PETA does things to kind of be outrageous so it can remind people that, hey, we're the people that stand up for animals, right? And I get that, and I understand that. But, they tend to find things that are going to draw a lot of fire to them. Like, this is going to get a lot of coverage. But if you run this coverage through a filter that says, is it negative coverage? Is it positive coverage? Is it neutral coverage? I'm going to bet my money, that it's going to be negative. Very negative, very little positive. So then you come up with the classic PR question. Does publicity count if it's negative? I'm not a fan of negative publicity. We avoid it because people are thinking negative things about your organization. And what business are we in? Relationship business, right? And if people are thinking negative things about your organization, it's going to be much harder for them to have a relationship with you, yada, yada. So I'm not a fan of this strategy. I get that they get a lot of attention, and people in PR say, "Oh, PETA's brilliant. Look how much attention they got." Negative attention. They got to be the lead joke on all the shows. Who just made fun of it? And really, another way to make fun of it is to say this: PETA, you're stupid. You're wasting our time. What is your problem? Go occupy yourself with some other work. You obviously don't have enough to do. You know what I mean? And their anti-animal language got really pointed out for being, kind of anti-animal. They said it's more animal friendly, but feeding birds scones, as we know, could kill them. So I'm just saying, PETA's losing, and honestly, that's the case almost every time I'm talking about him. Should we talk about "Baby It's Cold Outside"? My goodness. So the 1949 song "Baby It's Cold Outside," which has a man and a woman sort of playfully exchanging flirtatious suggestions during the course of the song. It's been used in all kinds of things. It's used in the movie Elf. It's sung by by Will Ferrell and Zooey Deschanel. So lots of people have the song. It's been around for a good long time. It's a Christmas classic, but now it's being yanked off the airwave because people say that it's in the Me Too era, it's like it creates kind of date rape undertones. Well, in 1949, we didn't have date rape. That wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing, and slipping somebody a Mickey in their drink or whatever so they can rape them also wasn't a thing. So the line, and a USC professor explains the origins. By the way, if you want to go to abc.com, abc7.com, sorry, you can read some of the origins of the song. But honestly, here's the point. Here's the point. Things that are written in historical context and then viewed in the current context, you can't put your current societal context on stuff that was written in 1949. Society was really different then. It was really different, right? So the things that were intended, you can't say, well, this is what was intended then. How the hell do you know? You're using your 2018 filter to review a song that was written in 1949. So and furthermore, it's a Christmas song. Shut up. And if you don't, another thing that I have too is why do people feel like they have to shut everything down for everyone else? It's like if you don't like it, there's a knob on the radio, and believe it or not, you can turn that thing to off, and then your personal feed for this song will be interrupted, and then you can just shut the hell up and leave everybody else alone. After that, you don't have to complain and be one of those people, right? You need more personal relationships in your life if you're the kind of person that needs to complain about "Baby It's Cold Outside." And the same people that are complaining about Charlie Brown. Charles Schultz is one of the nicest, kindest, most Christian men in the world. He was not a racist, and he certainly didn't. And everything that's been made of it's a different historical context. Every time you try to apply our ridiculously politically correct and incredibly wildly stupid 2018 societal context to stuff that was done, generations ago, you're going to be in the same boat. You're going to be in the same boat. So let's all just learn what the word context means. Let's learn about it. Let's understand it, and let's learn how to turn off the radio for ourselves and just shut the hell up when it doesn't involve us and other people. You don't have to be the Me Too police. That's just dumb. That's just dumb, and it doesn't need to be done. Everybody involved in that story is losing, I got to say. USA Gymnastics files for Chapter 11. Lots of PR problems with USA Gymnastics because of the sex abuse lawsuits it's facing and its potential really demise at the U.S. Olympic Committee. Lots of PR problems going on. One of the things that strikes me about USA Gymnastics about this is they haven't really apologized. They haven't explained it. They haven't come out and discussed it. So all they're doing is kind of like filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and saying, well, we don't want our creditors to come after us. It's like, it seems to me that in this era where everybody's, there needs to be an explanation or an apology. You're right. I mean, there's not anything going on. They're saying they're reorganizing, USA Gymnastics, but obviously there's some big old problems going on in USA Gymnastics that are endangering the girls, and that's that needs to be looked at, right? And it stuns me that the PR response has been sort of empty, or maybe I just missed it. Maybe it's being broadcast after football on Sports Center, and I just missed it. Anyway, USA Gymnastics right now, they're losing because they're stuck in Chapter 11. Should we talk about the first commercial self-driving car service? Waymo launched this bad boy in Phoenix this week. The self-driving car service is here. So it's basically you can, hail a cab, and it's an autonomous vehicle. Yikes. And it's like a ride-sharing car with price estimates, trip reviews. Up to 3 adults and a child can travel at once. And, Waymo, which had its collision last year, as you well recall, we discussed it on the show. It's really hoping to avoid future collisions and sort of ease the community in the driverless world. And this is interesting, too. Now, the first wave, and this was what I was curious was, so if I go to Phoenix and I ask for a Waymo to pick me up, is the thing going to be driverless? No. There is a driver, there's a human driver sitting in the front seat ready to take over in the event of a problem. I think that's pretty smart, by the way. I think that's pretty smart because it's going to freak people out. There's no way that you're getting in this car and you're not freaked out. There's no way you're not because you're moving at a high rate of speed. And I mean, you know what I mean? How much do you trust it? Do you trust it that much? Because I'd be freaking out because you get a software glitch or a hack or something else. And everybody's like, well, that was an unfortunate test that didn't work. But your ass is burning up somewhere because your car crashed in a fiery mess. So that's why I would say. But I would say winning in the sense Waymo is winning because they're a pioneer. They're trying to push this forward. They're trying to do it in the most sensitive way possible. So I think we got to give them the benefit of the doubt and say winning for Waymo. And you're winning because you're listening to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader of music talk. Come on back. I'm going to give you some tips to keep your happy relationship tube flowing freely.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Peabody-winning have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Peabody-winning can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Peabody-winning can help make it happen. We are Peabody-winning. We want you to play it loud. Peabody-winning.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EntertalkRadio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win. with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody, it is still Friday, and you are still tuned in to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host. We just talked about who was winning and losing. Hans Gruber is back at Nakatomi Plaza. Hans,
Hello.
What'd you like, man?
I thought it was entertaining talking about the using the context of like things, anything that was made in the past, and trying to apply our current culture to it.
It's crazy. It's nuts, isn't it?
I thought the drama around "Baby It's Cold Outside" was like ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is. And people are like, "What's in this drink?" I'm like, that's what somebody says when they've had too much to drink. Not literally something's in the drink.
Yeah,
Jesus.
What that meant back then versus what it means now is
right.
Way
Exactly. Way different. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad people enjoyed it. Let's move on. Today you're in episode 106, and we're talking about funnel fallacies. So I'm going to give you some tips here in the big old segment 3 to keep your happy relationship tube, not your funnel, your happy relationship tube flowing. And my number one tip is stop calling it a funnel. That is just wrong. And it's just wrong. And I get awareness, interest, desire, action. I went to marketing school, folks. I get that. But we are in the relationship business. And it's too easy for us to say, well, these people at the top of the funnel don't count, and let's just keep hitting them with everything but the kitchen sink. And eventually they'll move down from awareness to desire and action. You don't know that. You don't friggin' know what they're going to do. You know? I mean, all you end up doing is just sending them more stuff that they probably don't want. You know? So stop calling it a funnel. Start considering the needs of all the people. And remember the everything counts rule, right? So tip number 1 is stop calling it a funnel. Again, that's wrong. Tip number 2 is start caring about all the people in your target audience. Care about everybody. You're in the relationship business. You want them all, right? You want them all. Remember, in branding, everything counts. If you're CVS drugstore and you send me 8 emails and now I hate you, your communication is responsible for me hating you. Let me say that again directly. Your communication is directly responsible for me hating your brand. I actually like going to CVS drugstores. I think that they do a pretty good job. I think their receipts are entirely too long. I think they print out too many coupons at the thing. I mean, we don't need that many coupons in this digital age. Send it, put it on your app or something. But my experience in the stores with CVS is fine. My experience getting prescriptions filled at CVS is fine. My experience with giving you my email address and you blasting me like a machine gun, like people crossing no man's land in World War I, and you're just how many times can you friggin' blast off a thing in the desperate hopes that I might go, oh my God, buy one get one free cough syrup. Well, holy crap, I need to change my entire world and go out to CVS drugs today. That's not how it works. Okay? So, digital marketing, you people in digital marketing, you are the problem. You have made people believe that Google Analytics like I said, Google Analytics and Google Ads and all these things are a substitute for actually building relationships. They're not. They're not a substitute. Very important. Which brings me to tip 3. Police your digital marketing with actual marketing people and actual marketing chops. Just because somebody's young and they're in your organization and they know how to fire up Google Analytics and send out Google and Facebook ads does not make them a marketer. Okay? It doesn't. Being in marketing requires, well, let's see. education, training, skills, creativity, empathy, all of these things, that are so important to what we do. Make sure your digital marketing and your funnel and all of this stuff isn't causing damage to your brand reputation out there. Like I said, if there's somebody from CVS Drugs listening to this, you guys need to fix it. Albertsons, you guys need to back off. I mean, I'm this close to filing a restraining order against your communications. It's ridiculous. I mean, seriously, are you that desperate to sell groceries? I mean, that's what it comes off as, by the way. And just while I'm on that subject, I talk about Musician's Friend. Musician's Friend sends me a different coupon. Oh, and this is our best coupon of the year. And then next week, it's the best coupon of the year. 50% off, 50% off. Stop it. Okay? Batch all that crap up into like one weekly email or every other week. The problem with that is that some people do click on it. And then they give you what psychologists will refer to as positive reinforcement for a bad behavior. You get sales because somebody's interest happened to align with what you did, and then you associate that with your thing caused that. Get over yourself. You didn't cause it. You were just there when it happened. Okay? Digital marketers also don't understand jack squat about psychology. And psychology is the basis of everything that we do. If you're talking to a marketing person and they don't have a friggin' black belt in psychology, you should worry. Because that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to understand the human mind. Which changes all the time, which has all kinds of unpredictability to it, which has a million different variables to it. That's why we study so much neuroscience. That's why we kind of, try to understand all of this stuff. Now, let's just take the Musician's Friend example. And I know people at Musician's Friend. Love you if you're listening. But seriously, it's too much. I'm a customer Musician's Friend. I play in a band. I buy strings. I buy picks. I buy stuff. Sometimes I will buy a pedal or a piece of electronics or a microphone or something else. We buy stuff. We're musicians. We love gear. A Musician's Friend takes that and says, well, if he buys gear, then if we send him an email every day, then maybe he'll buy just a whole lot more gear. Maybe he'll buy just a lot more things. And if we keep sending him coupons, eventually maybe he will break down and just say, well, I was gonna pay for that surgery for my daughter, but instead I'm gonna buy this guitar. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. Okay? And the problem with digital marketers, with emailers, with retargeters, with telemarketers, is that some people fall for it. Is that the best thing in the world for all you people would be that if you got no response, because then you would move on to something else, right? But the problem that we all have is that there are idiots in the world who fall for it. That's the problem with telemarketing, by the way, is that you have one moron somewhere that said, "Oh, my name came up as and I won a vacation. Well, let me hear more about that." And then they got their one, right? And they're like, "Oh, they only have to call 100,000 to get one sale," right? So if you're the idiot that is positively reinforcing telemarketing out there, I'm angry with you because I get calls, and they're never going to get anything out of me because I hate telemarketing. I don't like telemarketers. I don't like anything about telemarketing. If you have telemarketing in your marketing strategy, stop listening to this show. Go away. You suck. And your brand sucks too. Okay? Don't do that stuff. We just talked about everything counts. We just talked about burning bridges, burning relationships, burning all this kind of stuff. And then you're going to willingly inflict telemarketing on people. I mean, I know people that have a home phone at home and literally don't answer it ever. They just answer their mobile phones, and then it's like if you call them on the mobile phone, they'll say, "Okay, now call me on the home phone, and then we can talk." It's like the mobile phone is like a screening device for the home phone, right? That's because of you telemarketers. You people did that. You're responsible for that. Okay? It's important that you know that. You know, I was talking to one company a couple of weeks ago, and they said, "Oh, well, we get a 1% rate on our 1% return rate on our telemarketing, and so but that one sale is really good, and so we always do it." And I had to pull out the whiteboard and explain to them everything counts. And then as a result of me explaining it, they magically decided to stop doing telemarketing. That's right, because telemarketing is stupid and bad, and everything that's bad about marketing, you can trace back to telemarketing. And if you can't trace it back to telemarketing, then you trace it back to retargeting. The same people that have that kind of mindset, because it comes from this mindset, which are, we're fine with bothering millions of people as long as we get a couple to sell, right? And marketing says, we want everybody. We want everybody. We want to attract people to us. We don't want to interrupt them. And we want relationships with everybody that are going to last a long time. They're going to last a long time, right? So, and people say, oh, well, aren't you just talking about the difference between sales and marketing? No, I'm talking the difference between really bad sales and really bad digital marketing and actual marketing. I'm talking about all the crap that masquerades as marketing, that when people like shake your hand and go, yeah, I do marketing, and you know, and it's a, and they, you know, send out too many Google ads and that kind of thing, versus actual marketing, where we're trying to build relationships, we're trying to listen to people, we're trying to do, you know, all the stuff that we talk about on the show. It's really important stuff, folks. It's really, really important. Tip number 4, listen as much as you talk and build in empathy to your communications. Always. You want to know the mark of a great marketing organization? They listen to the audience. You know, and people say, well, Scott, clarify that. What do you mean listen? You know, what do you mean listen? People talk to you. My client, Voco Pro, I'm going to give them a shout out. Voco Pro in Los Angeles. They make great like audio equipment, karaoke equipment, this kind of thing. I've never seen a company listen to their customers more than Voco Pro does. They listen. When people send them in feedback, they call them back and they have a human conversation with the person about the product. And then they take that feedback, and they're super smart because they go back and they design a new version of the product that incorporates all that feedback. And then they market it directly to those people and say, we listened. We know that, you know, they have things coming out. I probably can't talk about that, but they have things coming out at the NAMM show that are a direct result of listening to bands and musicians. There are plenty of other companies in the industry that do this kind of work. But this, everybody always asks me, they say, why is Voco Pro so innovative? Because they listen to the audience. They listen to them. And I can't say that enough. In communications, we get smart to the degree in which we listen to the audience. And yet it's blown off in so many communication programs. You know, there's no research component to it. Well, we can't wait. We're just going to get out there. Let's talk about when the ads are going to hit. Let's talk about when when's the first flight of ads going to hit? This kind of thing. It's just like, we don't have the ability to stop and listen as much as we talk. It's a real problem in organizational communications. The listening fuels your work. Fuels your work. You know, do you know how we got to Believe in Music Belong to NAMM for NAMM? We listened. We listened to the members talk to us. And believe me, they talked, you know, for a long time. You know, we listened organizationally. We set that up, you know, and then we came up with that. And we said, they don't agree on much, but they agree on this. So let's go with it, you know, and it worked, and it continues to work. And that's that is just a fantastic example of how listening can inform your work. It can inform your work, right? And you should be doing it as much as you talk. You know, in this day and age in social media, people will just tell you stuff about the brand, you know, and that's why I'm a big advocate of having marketing really involved in customer service. Oh, marketing's like, I don't want to be involved in customer service and all this kind of things. Are you crazy? You want to be talking to the customer. that's ultimately who you're trying to influence. You definitely want to have a conversation. I mean, maybe you don't want to get on the phone, that may not be the best use of your time, but there's got to be a process that you can design where you can still listen in and where you can still impact that. That's why we create brand guides for customer service. So customer service can be speaking, we can all be speaking like us with our, language and brand personality and all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff happens from taking an active role in listening organizationally. So always do that. Tip number 5, let people exit the ride freely, right? If they decide to get off, let them off and be nice about it. There's nothing that ticks me off more than you're sending me too many emails and I unsubscribe and then, and you give them a 24-hour grace period or whatever else. But then a few days later, they didn't listen to you. It's like, now I was angry before because I didn't want your email. But now my anger level is spiking, right? Because you're not letting me off the ride. And that makes people mad, right? What business are we in? Relationship business. So if you're in the relationship business, are you always in a relationship with somebody? Maybe not. Maybe you just let them off the ride for a little while. Maybe you, do a couple of other things. You launch some new products. You launch some other things. And maybe they come back to you. I mean, you never know what's going to happen next. But I guarantee you, if you don't let people exit your communications flow because they're in your funnel or whatever kind of bull crap you want to, add around that, then they're never going to have a relationship with you. Very, very important. So what have we learned today? We've learned that the act of calling your sales process a funnel is in itself anti-marketing because it is anti-relationship building. We can do better than this. We must do better than this. If we don't have real relationships with our customers, they will find new ways in the coming years to shut us out. And all the AI in the world isn't going to reopen those doors, folks. Those are human doors. AI ain't going to reopen them for you. Make your marketing not just good, but great. Make it about them. Then you can get a happy tube of relationships in place of your crappy funnel. That's it for me, kids. This has been Scott Robertson of May the Best Brand Win. We'll see you next week. Rock and roll. See ya. You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Entertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?